Hello students, welcome to the lecture on retail market segmentation, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Describe the market segmentation, explain the criteria for effective segmentation, discuss the dimensions of segmentation, define the customer profiling. Let's start with the introduction. Retail market segmentation is necessary and often critical to the development of effective marketing strategies in today's competitive marketplace. The impetus for a market segmentation strategy is basic customers exhibit heterogeneous needs and purchase patterns and thus respond differently to different marketing stimuli. The benefits to be gained from a segmentation strategy are closely linked to the marketing concept. The process of identifying segments necessitates a thorough analysis of the entire market, not only focusing on the customer's needs and shopping habits, but also providing knowledge of changing market conditions and competitive actions. This knowledge enables the retail organization to identify those segments that offer the most promising opportunities in relation to the organization's strengths and situational determinants. The firm can then develop strategies and implement programs tailored to the unique needs of the targeted segments and allocate its marketing resources in the most effective and efficient manner. Most researchers acknowledge these and other related benefits of applying segmentation approach. However, considering its relative importance as a marketing activity, retail market segmentation as a concept is a significantly under-researched topic in many countries. This observation is even more applicable within the highly competitive retail food industry. Let us now discuss about market segmentation. Market segmentation is the division of a market into different groups of customers with distinctly similar needs and product service requirements. Or to put it another way, market segmentation is the division of a mass market into identifiable and distinct groups or segments, each of which have common characteristics and needs and displays similar responses to marketing actions. Market segmentation was first defined as a condition of growth when core markets have already been developed on a generalized basis to the point where additional promotional expenditures are yielding diminishing returns. There is now widespread agreement that they form an important foundation for successful marketing strategies and activities. The purpose of market segmentation is to leverage scarce resources, in other words, to ensure that the elements of the marketing mix, price, distribution, products and promotion are designed to meet particular needs of different customer groups. Demographic segmentation. The demographic segmentation divides customers into segments based on demographic values such as age, gender, family size, family life cycle, income, occupation, education, religion, race, generation, social class, and nationality. The demographic segmentation is often used in market segmentation for the reason that the variables are easy to identify and measure. Furthermore, the demographic variables are associated with sale of many products and services, and finally, they provide a description of the target customers, so media buyers and others can target a desired target market. Geographic segmentation. The geographic segmentation divides customers into segments based on geographical areas such as nations, states, regions, countries, cities or neighborhoods. A company can target one or more areas and must be aware of the fact that data, according to geographic segmentation, may vary due to population shift. It is important to segment according to geographic due to the fact that the purchasing behavior of the customers is influenced on where they live, work, etc. Therefore, many companies customize their products, advertising, promotion and sales efforts to fit the needs of the geographical variables. The geographic segmentation is furthermore useful when there are differences in a location where a product is marketed. The differences can be caused by cultural factors, traditions, politics, etc. And furthermore, the differences can be significant in one segment, whereas in other segments the differences can be minor and less significant. Furthermore, as a result of an increase in the globalization, today the geographic segmentation has been linked to other differences in socio-economic and demographic characteristics. The result of this type of segmentation is referred to as geodemographics. The geodemographic segmentation combines the geographic segmentation with the demographic segmentation and thereby combines the study of the target customers with where they live. Hence, the geodemographic classifies the customers according to where they live in comparison to the way the social class defines consumers by their occupation, and thereby the companies are more capable of predicting consumer behavior. Psychographic segmentation. The psychological variables derive from two principal types of customer personality: profiles and lifestyle. Profiles, psychographics. Psychological profiles are often used as a supplement to geographic and demographics when these does not provide a sufficient view of the customer behavior. Psychographic segmentation therefore divides people according to their attitudes, values, lifestyles, interests, and opinions. Furthermore, some marketers have used personality variables to segment the markets. For example, the landline telephone is outdated and a commercial could appear to target elder people, whereas the actual purpose is that the commercial is aimed at a much broader personality group. Behavioral segmentation. Behavioral segmentation is based on the customer's attitude towards use of or response to a product. Many marketers believe that the behavioral variables such as occasions, benefits, user status, usage rate, buyer readiness stage, loyalty status, and attitude are the best starting points for constructing market segments. Now moving on to the next topic, let's study criteria for effective segmentation. As a student of marketing, we need to understand what makes a good segmentation so that in the event of doing segmentation in our workplace, we can test our decisions on these grounds. These 6 criteria include identity, accessibility, responsiveness, size, measurability, and nature of demand. Identity. The marketing managers must have some means of identifying members of the segment, that is, some basis for classifying an individual as being or not being a member of the segment. There must be clear differences between segments. Members of such segments can be readily identified by common characteristics and display similar behavior. Accessibility. It must be possible to reach the different segments in regard to both promotion and distribution. In other words, the organization must be able to focus its marketing efforts on the chosen segment. Segments must be accessible in 2 senses. First, firms must be able to make them aware of products or services. Second, they must get these products to them through the distribution system at a reasonable cost. Responsiveness. A clearly defined segment must react to changes in any of the elements of the marketing mix. For example, if a particular segment is defined as being cost conscious, it should react negatively to price rises. If it does not, this is an indication that the segment needs to be redefined. Size. The segment must be reasonably large to be a profitable target. It depends upon the number of people in it and their purchasing power. For example, makers of luxury goods may appeal to small but wealthy target markets, whereas makers of cheap consumption goods may sell to the large number of persons who are relatively poor. The idea is that enough potential buyers must exist to cover the costs of production and marketing required in that segment. This is often called as substantiality. Measurability. The purpose of segmentation is to measure the changing behavioral pattern of consumers. For example, the segment of a market for a car is determined by a number of considerations such as economy, status, quality, safety, comforts, etc. Nature of demand. It refers to the different quantities demanded by various segments. Segmentation is required only if there are market differentiation in terms of demand. The marketing manager should not only be able to find out the total demand, but also the differences in demand patterns in each of these segments. Identifiable and measurable segments must be identifiable so that the marketer can determine which consumers belong to a segment and which do not. However, there may be a problem with the segment's measurability, that is, the amount of information available on specific buyer characteristics, because numerous variables, example, psychological factors, are difficult, if not impossible, to measure at the present time. For example, if the marketer discovered that consumers who perspire profusely favored a particular brand, very little could be done with this information, since such a group would be difficult to measure and identify for segmentation purposes. Accessible. This criterion refers to the ease of effectively and economically reaching chosen segments with marketing efforts. Some desired segments may be inaccessible because of legal reasons. For example, liquor manufacturers are unable to market directly to young teenagers. In fact, there is a vigorous debate dealing with the constitutionality of segmenting and targeting certain groups. Cigarette companies that aimed recent new brands at 18 to 24-year-old, black women with a high school education or less have been criticized, and legislation to protect these targeted groups from such advertising has been proposed. The Association of National Advertisers defend the practice and claims such proposals amount to censorship and a violation of First Amendment rights. It is more likely, however, that segments may be inaccessible because the marketer is unable to reach them at a reasonable cost and with minimum waste via existing promotional media and retail outlets. Substantial. This collection refers to the degree to which a chosen segment is large enough to support profitably a separate marketing program. As was noted preciously, a strategy of market segmentation is costly. Thus, one must carefully consider not only the number of customers available in a segment, but also the amount of their purchasing power. Responsive. There is little to justify the development of a separate and unique marketing program for a target segment unless it responds uniquely to these efforts. Therefore, the problem is to identify market segments that will respond favorably to marketing programs designed specifically for them. Relationship. Marketing strategy in retailing management. The primary focus of relationship marketing is towards building closer relationships with customers as a strategy to overcome problems such as obtaining global competitive advantage, coping with rapidly changing technologies, and reducing time to market of new products. Relationship marketing is attracting, maintaining, and in multi-service organizations, enlarging customer relationships. Servicing and selling existing customers is examined to be just as important to long-term marketing success as obtaining new customers. Good service is necessary to retain the relationship. Good selling is necessary to enhance it. Marketers have become interested in the potential of relationship marketing activities to deliver enlarged value to the customer over and above the firm's product or service offering. Building strong customer relationships offers a significant competitive advantage due to the difficulty of direct imitation by competitors. Relationship marketing is essentially about the advantages and threats of engaging in and sustaining mutually useful exchange relationships. Relationship marketing states that in most cases, it is more beneficial for a company to engage with existing customers and to increase customer loyalty than it is to try to attract new customers. The idea of relationship marketing hints that exchange relations are not one-off but are ongoing over the lifetime of the relationship. Competitive marketing strategy has relationship marketing as one of the key functionality in enlarging business performance. Relationship marketing is defined as the identification, establishment, maintenance, enlargement, modification, and termination of relationships with customers to form value for customers and profit for organization by a series of relational exchanges that have both a history and a future. Due to increased competition and price pressures, understanding how to establish and sustain buyer-seller relationships is becoming increasingly paramount for marketers. Most specifically, managing an effective relationship in a consumer context is considered to be even more challenging than it is in a business context, given the generally more polygamous character of consumers as objected to business customers. Creating customer and brand loyalty with connected marketing approach. The customer loyalty to the brand is frequently the core of a brand's equity. If customers do not care to the brand and in fact buy with respect to features, price and convenience with little interest to the brand name, there is likely little equity. If on the other hand, they proceed to purchase the brand even superior features of competitors, price and convenience, substantial value exists in the brand and perhaps in its slogans and symbol. The evaluation of the attachment that a customer has to a brand is called brand loyalty. It reflects how likely a customer will be to switch to another brand, especially when that brand makes a change, either in price or in product features. The vulnerability of the customer base to competitive action is reduced as brand loyalty increases. It is one indicator of brand equity which is linked to future profits since brand loyalty directly translates into future sales.
The relationship marketing approach is quite a bit different. This approach is really based around creating long-term clients. And to do that, basically, we look at all of our touches being really personalized, relevant, and customer centric so that every touch that we send out, whether that's an email or a direct mail, is taking information that we've gathered from previous interactions with the prospect and delivering then targeted messages based on that information. These programs are usually multi-touch nurturing programs that are based on where the prospect is in the buying cycle and what information they've provided previously, whether that's demographic, psychographic information, information about their needs, interests, or pains, and it's really targeted to that information. So let's take a look at what this looks like in a typical program. Just as before, our overall budget is $3,500, but we're going to implement a two-phase program. The first phase for our early touch will be personalized content. So we're going to create some highly segmented touches that really are personalized with the prospect's name and any other information that we've gathered in our marketing database. Now, differently in this program, because we're going to have two touches, the second touch will be nurturing. So we're going to only put $2,500 of our $3,500 budget into this, and that would result in about a 2,000 mail drop. And surprisingly, though, because you personalize, all of the research shows that you can double your response rates. So rather than generating 60 inquiries as our traditional program did, we're able to, with a smaller list size, generate 80 inquiries, and the cost per response is only $31. Now, again, let's say that our sales team is able to close 20% of those, and that results in 16 sales, and for our $1,000 product, $16,000 in revenue. Now, that is $4,000 more than what we had previously. Now, if we take it a step further and add a nurturing step on to all of those prospects who said that they were just interested, so we're going to nurture them with a few touches, and we'll add our additional $1,000 that we had available for our budget to do this, to do 6 touches to nurture those just interested prospects. Now, because these prospects have already been in contact with our company and they've dealt with us before, generally we see much higher response rates. So let's say that we have a 35% response rate, we can generate an additional 22 inquiries at $45 per response marketing cost. Now, again, these people have been in contact with us before, and so it's likely that our sales conversion rate will be higher as well. So we can tack on another 8 sales or $8,000 in revenue and drive our marketing costs then down on those to $125. So let's look at the overall results for this program. With the relationship marketing approach, for the same investment, we had 102 inquiries total. That's compared to 60 inquiries we had in the traditional marketing approach. And our cost per response was only $34. We doubled our revenue and our sales, so rather than 12 sales, we had 24 sales and $12,000 more in revenue. So as you can see, with relationship marketing, we were able to produce 70% more inquiries and 100% more sales and revenue.
Let's now talk about the dimensions of segmentation. A segmentation variable is a characteristic of individuals, groups, or organizations that marketers use to divide and create segments of the total market. One approach to segmentation is on a priority basis. In this case, the marketer may assume that differences must exist among heavy users and light or medium users of a product category. Segmentation descriptors fall under four major categories and include geographic variables, demographic variables, psychographic variables, and behavioristic variables. Segmentation refers to the process of creating small segments within a broad market to select the right target market for various brands. Market segmentation helps the marketers to devise and implement relevant strategies to promote their products amongst the target market. A market segment consists of individuals who have similar choices, interests, and preferences. They generally think on the same lines and are inclined towards similar products. Once the organizations decide on their target market, they can easily formulate strategies and plans to make their brands popular amongst the consumers. Steps in market segmentation. Identify the target market. The first and foremost step is to identify the target market. The marketers must be very clear about who all should be included in a common segment. Make sure the individuals have something in common. A male and a female cannot be included in one segment as they have different needs and expectations. Burberry stocks separate merchandise for both men and women. The management is very clear on the target market and has separate strategies for product promotion amongst both the segments. A Garnier men's deodorant would obviously not sell if the company uses a female model to create awareness. Segmentation helps the organizations decide on the marketing strategies and promotional schemes. Identify expectations of target audience. Once the target market is decided, it is essential to find out the needs of the target audience. The product must meet the expectations of the individuals. The marketer must interact with the target audience to know more about their interests and demands. Create subgroups. The organizations should ensure their target market is well defined. Create subgroups within groups for effective results. Review the needs of the target audience. It is essential for the marketer to review the needs and preferences of individuals belonging to each segment and subsegment. The consumers of a particular segment must respond to similar fluctuations in the market and similar marketing strategies. Name your market segment. Give an appropriate name to each segment. It makes implementation of strategies easier. A kids division can have various segments, namely newborn, infants, toddlers, and so on. Marketing strategies. Devise relevant strategies to promote brands amongst each segment. Remember, we cannot afford to have same strategies for all the segments. Make sure there is a connection between the product and the target audience. Advertisements promoting female toiletries cannot afford to have a male model, else the purpose gets nullified. A model promoting a sunscreen lotion has to be shown roaming or working in sun for the desired impact. Review the behavior. Review the behavior of the target audience frequently. It is not necessary individuals would have the same requirement, demand all through the year. Demands vary, perceptions change, and interests differ. size of the target market. It is essential to know the target market size. Collect necessary data for the same. It helps in sales planning and forecasting. Now let us discuss about customer profile. A customer profile is a series of descriptive phrases that paint a picture of a selected retail consumer target. A profit is built from demographic, expenditure, lifestyle, and media preference data and is used to immediately understand the characteristics of a given customer. Profiling is an effective tool because it helps retail marketers manage current customers, develop strategies aimed at specific prospects, and reduce the overall costs of marketing and customer acquisition. Using profiles to explore untapped markets is one of the most effective ways to increase retail direct marketing response rates and ultimately acquire new customers. A good profile leverages known demographic, expenditure, and behavioral characteristics against an unknown population and reveals similarities or differences we can exploit. Now, in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. Retail market segmentation is necessary and often critical to the development of effective marketing strategies in today's competitive marketplace. Relationship marketing is a philosophy to change eagerly the customer's behaviors and implementations depending on what the customer is thinking about the company and what the personnel of the company should know about the customer. Market segmentation is the division of a market into different groups of customers with distinct similar needs and product service requirements. Market segmentation was first defined as a condition of growth when core markets have already been developed on a generalized basis to the point where additional promotional expenditures are yielding diminishing returns. A relational marketing perspective would replace the marketing mix, the 4 Ps, either with the 7 Ps or with a discussion of the need to design, develop, and deliver the customer experience. The market segmentation is mentioned as being one of the key elements of modern marketing and is, as mentioned, the process of dividing the market into several groups and/or segments based on factors such as demographic, geographic, psychological, and behavioral factors. The demographic segmentation divides customers into segments based on demographic values such as age, gender, family size, family life cycle, income, occupation, education, religion, race, generation, social class, and nationality.